Hello, welcome to Verbling. I'm teacher Oakley, and for the next hour, we're going to be learning about and practicing usage of what is called future in the past in English grammar terms. Future in the past is not officially, if you will, not officially an actual verb tense in English, but kind of akin to some other constructions like using used to. It is a recognized kind of a sentence construction, or a very common type of sentence construction which we use in English. Basically, future in the past is concerned with talking about what we thought or predicted in the past would happen in the future, if you can wrap your head around that. In today's class, we're going to start off with really kind of looking at it in a very basic way, practicing. Students will practice forming their own sentences using future in the past as we look at some various uses of this construction type. And then we will, later in the class, we'll take some time to do some exercises, fill in the blank exercises to make sure we understand what's going on, and also to introduce maybe some more complex aspects of this construction. Okay, so much for the intro. Let me welcome students to the class, do a little microphone check, and we'll get the game underway. Okay, hello, Antonio. How are you?
Hello, colleague.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm thanks.
Sorry?
Yes, what is the question?
Just how are you? I really am checking your microphone. I'm making sure
Okay.
that. Okay.
I'm fine.
Well, I'm
fine,
saying
thanks.
hello and checking the microphone. Okay, it's good. All right. Great. Ale?
Hi, Oakley.
Hi.
Hi, everyone. How are you?
Hi. Long time no see. All right. Good to see you again. Welcome to the class.
Thank you.
Okay. Wellington has joined us. Hi, Wellington.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Great. Nice to have you here. Hello, Ileana.
Okay, hello. Here again.
Hello. Here again. Okay, here again. Terrific. Okay, welcome to the class. Nice to have you here. And also Wilson has joined us. Hi, Wilson. How are you doing today?
Hello. Good morning, everybody. I'm doing well. And you?
I'm fine, thank you. And good evening to you. From the other
Good
side.
evening.
From the other side of the
Okay.
planet. Yeah. Okay.
It's 8 o'clock in the morning here. Okay.
Okay. Well, I'm in the Philippines. It's 6, just a little past 6. Okay. Anyway, let's get started. I'm going to do a screen share and kind of talk to you about some of the basic forms of what's called future in the past, and you guys will be practicing a little bit, forming some sentences. Okay. Here we go. All right. Future in the past. Okay. The basic, straightforward form we use when we use future in the past, and there are variations, but the basic form is like the simple future verb tense. Future in the past has 2 different forms. As in simple future, we have will. I will do something, and going to. I am going to do something. That's in the simple future. Future past has 2 different forms. Will, instead of will, we have would. Okay? And instead of is, present tense of the verb to be, we have was going to. All right, and similarly to the simple future verb tense, although the two forms can sometimes be used interchangeably, sometimes not so much. They can have different meanings. Before I continue, I'm not sure, Antonio or Ale, one of you guys, or maybe both of you guys, you have your microphone open. It's not anything too disturbing, but if you wouldn't mind closing your microphone, and then, you know, obviously later I'll call on you and you're going to make sentences and so forth. Yeah, there's a little feedback. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right, let's look at the two forms and look at examples to start off with here. Okay, using would in the verb. For example, straightforward statement, I knew you would help him. Okay, we're talking about past events we know about, so notice here that there is just two statements, a positive and a negative. I knew you would help him. I'm telling you, I'm talking about something I believed in the past. That's why it's future in the past. Something I believed was going to happen in the future. But I'm saying it now. I'm talking about the past, what I thought. I knew you would help him. So notice the construction. I knew you would help him. Okay. The negative, I knew you would not help him. Obviously, not here.
One question.
Front of the main verb. Yeah.
How about might? Must and might. I knew you might help me.
Well, that's okay. Well, think about it in context. I knew you might help me. Well, first of all, you wouldn't say that. You might say, might means you're uncertain. So you would never say, I knew you might. That doesn't make sense. I knew there was a 50% chance you would help me. Okay. Wilson, you can, however, say, I thought you might help me. You see the difference there? That matches.
Yes.
Okay, that matches, and that is possible. Right. Okay. That's what's tricky about the future and the past. It's not like a real verb. It's not a verb tense. It is not a verb tense. This is one form, probably the most basic form I'm kind of using to introduce you to the concept, get you to wrap your head around it. But, okay, great. I thought you might help me. At the time, in the past, I thought you might help me. Yeah, that is also future in the past. Okay. I clarify it by saying at the time to make sure you understand it's in the past, but yes. Now, there are many variations and ways we can say that, but the basic idea is the same, and still using the modal might help. It's still the same construction, the modal before the main verb help. Okay. These are probably the most common, using would or was or were going to. Okay. Okay, this construction was or were going to, was or were, of course, depending on I was, he was, she was, it was, or the plurals, they were, we were, you were. The combination, auxiliary going to plus your main verb. So basically the same construction. I knew you were going to go to the party. I knew you were not going to go to the party. Same idea. The first auxiliary is always pivotal. Okay, even in other verb tenses where you have multiple or more than one auxiliary, not will always follow the first auxiliary. Obviously, here, just like in the former, I knew you would not help him. Most native English speakers would use the contracted or reduced form. The contraction wouldn't. I knew you wouldn't help him. And same thing here. I knew you weren't going to help, weren't going to go to the party. And even, for that matter, I knew you weren't gonna go to the party. When you're following going to with a verb, it's very common to use the reduced form, which sounds like gonna. Very common in spoken English. Very normal and quite acceptable. All right. To help us wrap our heads around this idea, let's look at uses. And yes, maybe we'll get into doing it different ways without would, or we're going to. Okay. Okay, hang on a second. Let me consolidate this. Okay. Notice the diagram here. Okay, future in the past is used to express the idea that in the past you thought something would happen in the future. That's the idea. So often using I knew you would, I thought you would, maybe I wanted you to, I wished you would. Those are the more complicated variations. So it's possible you'll see those verbs. Something you thought would happen in the future. Okay, very important. It does not matter if you are correct or not. Okay, the information you thought didn't have to turn out to be true. Okay. Future in the past follows the same basic rules as the simple future. Okay. In the simple future, of course, we're talking about will and am going to. Okay, the same idea here. Will, or in future in the past, would, is used when you are volunteering or promising something, offering to do something. I will carry your bags. He said he would carry my bags. If you see the idea. Okay, you're volunteering or promising. Will is used in the simple future when you just think of something right that minute. I think I will buy some candy. I just thought of that. All right. If I'm putting it future in the past, I thought I would buy some candy. Same idea, something I just thought of. Kind of like volunteer, but you're volunteering to do something for yourself. Okay. The going to in the simple future is always used to talk about something which is a plan, something that you have thought of before, not a spur of the moment decision, but something that was planned and considered beforehand. And just like simple future, future in the past, both forms can be used to make predictions about the future. Okay, who you think is going to, I think, let's see, all right. I think Denver will win the American Football Super Bowl. I think Denver is going to win the Super Bowl. Doesn't matter. Either form can be used for predictions. In the past, okay, if it's 3 weeks from now and you talk to me, I would have to say, I thought Denver would win the Super Bowl, or I thought Denver was going to win the Super Bowl. By then, it will be over, and we will all know the outcome. And you see how it doesn't matter if I was correct or not. It doesn't matter. I can give you this example because it doesn't matter if I turn out to be right or I turn out to be wrong. It doesn't matter who ends up winning. That's what I thought at the time. At the time, that was my prediction. That's the idea. Okay, we're going to look at some examples now, and then I'm going to have you guys I'm gonna have you guys form some of your own sentences, and maybe we'll do some different things with plans or voluntary actions. Remember voluntary actions. I think I will buy some coffee. All right, I just thought of it. I will buy some coffee. A voluntary action doesn't mean necessarily that you volunteer for somebody else. Maybe you're volunteering to do something for yourself. So keep that in mind. We're going to look at these examples. I'll have you guys try to form your own based on these different reasons, plans, predictions, whatever. I just want you to notice the constructions here, and then I'll have you guys give it a try. Let me quickly say hi to Gina. Hey, Gina, welcome to the class. Hi there.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you.
Hi. Welcome. Okay, let's look at some examples. I told you he was going to come to the party. Okay, here's another element, not to confuse you and add more to it, but okay, this is obviously something that's called reported speech. You're reporting, actually, okay, you're reporting what you said earlier. He told me he was going to come to the party. Reported speech. You're reporting what he said. Here, I told you he was going to come to the party. You're reporting yourself. So, reported speech is one area, one aspect where we frequently use a future in the past construction. It's very normal. And here's an example of that. You're talking about plans from the past. So you really, here you have to use the going to construction, not would. What is the difference? Okay, if you said, I told you he would come to the party, that means what you're really saying is that was your prediction in the past. Okay, and this one, I told you he was going to come to the party, you're saying in the past you knew, or thought you knew at least, that he planned on coming to the party. I know, I'm overloading you with information, so if you guys have any questions, you want me to slow down, don't be shy, okay? I won't know unless you tell me. I can back up and try to go through it logically from another direction if you guys need me to. Don't be shy. It's a lot, I know that. Wrapping your head around the time concepts involved here. I knew Julie would make dinner. All right, you're talking about a voluntary action. Again, it's possible to say I knew Julie was going to make dinner, but you're saying something different. You're saying that that you knew or thought you knew that Julie planned on making dinner. So you see the difference. Many times, it's really not going to matter to the listener or reader which one you mean, you know. So sometimes it doesn't matter at all. Sometimes it might be important that the listener or reader understand that it's a plan, a voluntary action, a prediction, what have you. All right. Okay, Jane said Sam was going to bring his sister with him, but he came alone. Okay, notice the reported speech ones. I told you, Jane said, past tense. Notice the beginning phrase is always in the past tense. He said, okay, you will not see this future in the past with Jane says. Okay, Jane says, I would have to say, Jane says Sam is going to bring his sister. Simple future. That's different. That's relayed speech. That's now. That's different. That's not reported speech. It's not from the past. Okay. Okay, here we see an example of a prediction. I had a feeling the vacation was going to be a disaster. Here, would doesn't change anything. He promised he would send a postcard from Egypt. Okay, here's a promise. Yeah, since you're actually using the would promise, you're locked in here. You're absolutely locked into would instead of going to. Okay. Before we jump into more, okay, now we'll deal with that in a second. Let's step by step here. Okay, let's try this out. All right, let's try talking first about a plan. Let's concentrate on a plan. We're going to do a couple rounds of having you guys form sentences. Make sure you got the basics here. Okay, so Antonio, form your own sentence talking about a plan.
Okay. About a plan, prediction, promise, or in general?
About a plan specifically.
About a plan, sorry.
So you're going to have to use going to, yeah.
Mhm. Tom said to me that he was going to London.
Going to what?
To London.
Okay, well, let's talk about this. Tom said to me that, this is reported speech, that he was going to London. This is past continuous. Okay, this is not an incorrect sentence. Okay, and it's perfectly okay. There's nothing wrong with this construction, but this is what this is here is this is simple. I mean, this is past continuous. Okay, so in this case, what did Tom say exactly? In the past, Tom said, Antonio, what did Tom say? What is the actual speech?
That direct speech.
Well, Tom actually said, I am going to London yesterday, in the present continuous. So when you report it later, you say, Tom said to me that he was going to London. You see what I mean now? What he actually said. Right.
Mm-hmm.
We change the tense and we make it more in the past. In reported speech, we do this. This is something that's called backshift. Okay. And backshift, okay, is going to be, is what we call this. Backshift is when you make the verb tenses more in the past to show that the idea happened in the past. All right, that it was actually spoken in the past. All right, this is simple continuous. All right, Tom said to me that he was going to London. If we want to make the future in the past construction, we need go.
To go, okay.
To go to London. He was going to go to London. What's the difference? Well, not a whole lot, because we use present continuous to talk about immediate plans, and we use the future simple going to talk about more long-term plans, or maybe more solid, important plans, like going to go to university or whatever. There's not a lot of difference here, frankly. Okay, so there you go. You could say it either way, and it basically has the same meaning. The very slight difference is that with this construction, I don't really know when it is. I know it's a solid plan. Maybe it's next year. The way you constructed it, with just going to London, I would assume this is in the fairly near future, in the next couple weeks. Okay? Both constructions are equally valid, slight difference in meaning. So, you know, there's no exact rule. If he's going to London in a month, I don't know, I don't care, use either one. Okay? You see what I mean? Very slight difference in meaning. Okay,
Thank
but
you for the explanation.
Sure. That's what I'm here for. This is really complicated, so we're probably going to have a lot to talk about with all of your sentences here. It's kind of slow going because there's a lot to think through when we're doing this. Okay, Ale, you want to give me an example of a plan? You don't have to do reported speech either, by the way.
Yes, I try. I knew Ken would pass an English exam.
That's a prediction. Okay.
Okay. He was going to pass an English exam.
Okay. And the difference here is that, okay, Ken planned on passing the English exam. I guess you can plan on passing an exam. I guess that's possible. Okay. All right. I knew Ken was going to pass the English exam. All right. That's pretty straightforward. Okay.
So this form is right.
Yeah, this is okay. It's a little weird because you're saying, okay, Ken plan. Do we really plan on passing an exam? Well, you can.
Okay.
You know,
Yes.
I guess it's possible. I think it would be more common to predict someone would pass an exam. So I think it would be more common to use would here.
I can't use would in this phrase because is a promise, right?
Well, not a promise, but probably most likely a prediction. Then the nature of the content, the context, what you're saying, is it something, you know, use logic. Is it something that you would likely predict or promise or plan? You know, betting on somebody or thinking about somebody passing an exam seems likely that it would be a prediction because you can't control it. It's not you. You're talking about somebody else. So you don't know what somebody else is going to do. It's you know, if you're talking about the weather, for example, you're not going to use, probably not going to use going to be. Well, you can, because predictions you can use either form. So yeah, okay, whatever. You're talking about the weather, you could use either form because it's clearly a prediction. You can't know or plan. So there you go.
Okay.
Okay, Wellington. Want to give it a try? Talking about plans.
Okay. She was going to work out every day.
Okay. Okay. She planned on doing it. Now, look at this sentence. She was going to work out every day. Obviously, this kind of a sentence would demand some context around it, probably. It would be very likely, and it's very common, to see one of these sentences in conjunction with another clause with but.
But
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It would be very common to say she was gonna work out every day, but
she gave up. Gave up.
She gave up. All right. Okay. I'm just pointing that out. Your sentence is a complete sentence. There's nothing wrong with it, but it leaves a little bit hanging. It leaves the listener or reader guessing. Yeah, and what happened? Okay. It's gone. Wilson, you want to give it a try? Actually.
Yes, okay, a plan. My brother said he was going to get married.
Okay. Brother said he was going to get married. Okay, that is definitely something that would be a plan, no question about it. So, yeah, okay, now here's some content, some material where it's very logical. This is something you plan. Nobody just wakes up in the morning, gets married in the afternoon without thinking about it. Or at least
one question.
I hope not, anyway. Yes, go ahead.
In this phrase, it's necessary put or to get, or I can't say I was going to marry, because I think you get it, he emphasizes the situation or not.
My brother said he was going to marry. Well, you can say that. It's yes, you could say that. But you know what? For me, my brother said he was going to marry. It sounds like it makes it more general, like to some woman someday.
Okay.
Okay. But when I hear my brother said he was going to get married, to me that means that he has very specific plans now.
Okay.
With Lucy on Saturday, October 3rd, something like that. Okay.
Okay. Thanks.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. Okay. So, all right. That's a very specific, weird exception, but yes. All right. And never mind future in the past. If somebody just says, "I'm going to marry," it seems general. I'm going to get married. Somebody would say, "When? What's the date? Are you going to invite me?" You know. Okay. That has nothing to do with the verb tense. That has to do with the nature of the verb marry. Sure. No problem. Thank you. Good question. Gina, want to give it a try for something planned?
Planned. Susie was going to buy a new car. But she lost her job.
There you go. Very good. I was just going to say this. Now here's another one. Here's another phrase where it seems like there should be more information, but whatever. And you did it. Great. Seem to have the idea. Now, one more time around. Now, pick. I'll let you guys pick. Talk to me about a voluntary action or a promise. A voluntary action or a promise. Okay, try that. Because again, a prediction, you can use either ones. It really doesn't matter. Okay, Antonio, back to you. A voluntary action or a promise?
I knew Helen
Helen?
would help her if she need.
Okay, one more time. Do I have it right so far? I knew Helen would help her?
If she need.
If she need. Okay. All right. We have to continue our back shift, Antonio. So it would have to be if she needed. And we also need an object noun. If she needed it. Needed help. Okay. All right. So close, but okay. If she needed it. If she needed it, Helen would help her. Do you know what that? If I without the introductory phrase here, if I strip this away and leave the rest, do you know what kind of sentence this is, Antonio?
This is a kind of promise, or voluntary action. Voluntary
action, but you know what else it is? It's something called a conditional sentence. if
Yeah,
or
condition.
unless.
Exactly. Yes, yes.
Yes, it is, and you have it's perfect. Okay, future in the past is exactly what we're doing when we construct the second conditional or the unreal conditional. We use a past tense of our main verb in the if clause and would. Okay. If she needed it, Helen would help her. Helen would help her if she needed it. Exactly the same thing. So this whole future in the past thing that we're looking at today is a crucial element in reported speech, second conditionals, actually third conditional. Okay, it pops up in different areas of English, and you've just demonstrated one. Thank you. Okay, Ale, a
Okay.
promise or a volunteered action?
John promised me he would train more in a swimming pool.
Okay. In this one.
But sorry, Oakley. After promise me, I have to put me.
Oh, okay, we're done. I thought you were still giving me a sentence. Okay. John promised me.
Me.
Ah,
Okay.
John promised.
Is right? So
You.
I
It doesn't matter. Maybe.
Okay.
Without
Okay.
it, I don't know who John promised. With it, now it's more information.
Okay,
It's
yes,
more
yes.
clear he promised. So.
Okay, no problem.
So either way, actually. All right. And that is correct. That's great. And yes, you definitely have to use would here. All right. Okay. Wellington, you want to give it a try? A promise or a volunteered action?
Okay. My boss, my boss, my boss told me he would promote me.
Yeah, I've heard that promise before.
Promote, yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I bet a lot of us have heard that promise. All right. That is a common sentence, I'll bet you. Yeah, and that is correct. Okay, good job.
Thank you.
All right, great. Wilson, a promise or a volunteer action?
Okay, I said I would try to do the homework.
Yeah, would try. Yeah.
I would try to do the homework. It's
That's
a promise.
Yeah. It's a pseudo promise, a sort of promise. I'll try. Okay. But yes, it is correct grammatically, and it is a very common usage of the future and the past, very common construction, very common way to promise in English. I'll try to do it. All right, I like it. Very good. Okay, Gina, one more. Volunteer or
Promise.
promise? Yeah.
Sarah promised Laura she would lend her bag, red bag.
Okay. Okay, and this weird thing happens. She would lend her red bag. Yep. It happens. Sarah promised Laura she would lend her red bag. This kind of weird thing had her. there. These things happen in English. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. Important point here. And this goes for all of English and all future tenses, including future in the past. Okay, so this is important. All future forms, that is to say future simple, future perfect, future continuous, future perfect continuous, all passive future tenses, and future in the past, all forms can never, ever, 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 ever be used in clauses which begin with time expressions or subordinators, like when, while, before, after, by the time, if, unless. Yes, if and unless are considered time expressions, just so you know. We can never use a future tense in any clause or sentence. Well, a sentence is a clause that begins with any of these time expressions, and there are more than we can talk about right now. So, instead of using future in the past, you revert to the next more simple thing, which would be the simple past. So, as an example, not correct. I already told Mark that when he would arrive, we would go out for dinner. You can't do this. You just can't. All right? Even though you're talking about the past and it is a future in the past situation, you would have to construct your sentence as such. I already told Mark that when he arrived, we would go out for dinner. Okay? Notice when he arrived. Okay, comma, that's the end of the clause. Now I can use would for the next clause. We would go out for dinner. Okay? So, that is correct. You can do future in the past with passives. As an example, I knew John would finish the work by 5 p.m. I knew the work would be finished by 5 p.m. As always in a passive, the main verb is in the past participle form. The verb to be is used. Okay, and here we have would. Okay, same thing. Now, okay, Wellington, thank you, buddy. You take care. Bye-bye. Bye. Have a good day. Don't work too hard.
Bye, thank you. Bye, guys.
Okay. Okay. All right. Now we're going to try some exercises. See if you guys can figure this out. Okay, you're going to have to figure out how to construct the verb with the proper tense, but also what logical verb would work in this case. Okay, just read the sentence and then attempt to fill in the blank. Antonio, number 1.
Anna and Lydia turn up at my apartment. Sorry, just as I.
Oh, this one's interesting. Yes.
I don't know.
What do you do at night when you want to sleep?
I was going to bed.
Okay. Now, this is kind of what we talked about before, Antonio. I'm so glad you got this one. Just as I was going to go to bed?
I had to go to bed, yeah.
Okay. Just as I was going to bed, okay. Okay, the difference here, see, there is a difference sometimes. Just as I was going to bed means that was the now. You were actually getting in bed. Just as I was going to go to bed means you planned on it, but you maybe weren't even in the bedroom yet. Okay? Going to bed means you're actually got your feet into the bed. Going to go to bed, you're shutting off the lights and you're letting the cat in the house. You're still not in the bedroom yet. There's a subtle but slight difference there. Okay. All right. That is a good example of how the difference can be changed slightly. Okay. The meaning can be changed. All right. Good job. Ale, number 2.
You are home early. I thought you were going to play squash with Alex tonight.
Okay. This seems like organizing a squash match would be something you planned. Yeah? So,
okay.
Very good. Yes, you got it. Right choice. We're going to. Exactly. All right. And this is future in the past. Good job. That's perfect. Okay. Wilson.
Yes, okay. She said she too. Is okay there?
No, that is not okay. That's a typo. Sorry, typo. Two should be, think behind. Oh, okay. Oh, she, okay.
She said she.
Yes, that's right. Okay. Think about this one for a minute. It's a challenging one.
Okay. Okay, she said she would leave Merrick unless he apologized for being rude.
That's possible. Okay. She said she would leave Merrick. All right. But okay, that kind of means that she's predicting, which is a little weird. Okay. Oh, well, she's promising maybe. Yeah. Okay. It's a
Yeah, it was a promise. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That works. Yeah, you're right. Okay. With the two here, okay, your answer's good and it fits this context of the sentence. I think what I was thinking here, she said she was not going to speak to Merrick unless he apologized. A negative.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, be careful. Some of these are tricky. They may be negative answers, negative verb answers. All right. Gina, number 4.
Sorry, I'm late. I didn't realize the meeting was going to go on all day.
Okay. Whoops. Was going to go on all day. Yeah. Very good. Yeah. I didn't realize the meeting was going to go on all day. Okay. Slight assumption here that it was planned. The meeting was planned to go on all day. Maybe. You know, you could say I didn't realize the meeting would go on all day, and the slight meaning change is that it was volunteered by the group to continue the meeting. Here, would and going to make very little difference in the meaning. So, okay. Antonio, number 5.
Okay. He told his children that they until they finishes their homework.
Forget about what we've been learning so far. Would and going to. Is there another word that would make more sense here?
They weren't going to go out until they finishes their homework.
Okay, it is possible he told his children that they were not going out until they finished their homework. All right,
Yes,
that's his plan.
that's it.
Right, and you can do it that way, and that is perfectly correct. But there's another word that would actually fit this sentence, and another variation on future in the past. Okay, this is, this is all about permission. So permission modal, can, and what is the past?
With
tense? Yeah, could. That's right.
They-
So it might be common, could not. They couldn't go. I forgot go. Couldn't go out unless they finished their homework. It doesn't. We don't have to use. We're not locked into the would and was or were going to. There are other variations. Here we're talking about permission. So we want to use a modal of permission. Similar to the idea in the beginning, near the beginning, when Wilson was talking about might. It is possible to have variations here. And I think this one would be more common. With wouldn't, That's possible. Okay, that's his plan. You're expressing that idea, and it's grammatically correct. But you could also do it with couldn't. Ale, try number 6.
Okay.
Here's another variation. Just think about what word would make sense.
The test was to have and the first moment I think bold, but I don't think that is right.
Okay. This is another very specific variation. If we moved have around, okay, I'm going to help you out because this is really hard and we're running out of time. Okay, you could say the test was going to have been on Monday.
Okay.
Or it's acceptable, another variation here, the test was to have been. Simply have been.
But in the second part of phrase, the phrase said, but it was postponed because the teacher was ill. In this case, we have to use bold. No.
I'm sorry. I'm not your fault. I was thinking about what you're saying, and could you repeat that? Sorry.
Okay, no. I'm thinking about the rules of future past. Sorry. I'm confused.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, what's confusing things is we have passives here. You know that was postponed. Okay, passive past. Backshift is what it is. Woo! Okay. When you add these extra elements, it makes it all the more confusing to process in your brain. Okay. So anyway, yes, you can use the test was going to have been on Monday. Yes, you can use he told his children that they were not going to go out. Okay, so that's why I started the lesson. We looked at would and going to, because it's pretty much always possible to use them, but there are other variations that are acceptable, which I'm kind of trying to show you now, a few of them. All right, Wilson, number 7.
Okay, I think it's a plan. We were going to do the lesson when the fire alarm went off. We are planning to do the lesson when the fire alarm went off.
Okay. Well, thank you. Here's another variation. All right. We were planning to do the lesson.
No doubt it's a plan.
Yeah, and because we're using, because of the nature of the definition of the verb, we don't have to worry about it. And that is actually true in the simple future tense as well. It's the same thing. You don't have to worry about it because the word defined means that. So we don't have to signify it by using the verb tense. That's the same thing with that verb plan, you know. I plan to go to Mexico next week. I don't need to say I will plan, and in fact that's redundant. It sounds silly. Right. Okay, Gina, number 8.
He applied for a passport because he was going to go abroad.
Yeah, seems like something you'd plan, doesn't it? It kind of has to be. Whoops, what am I doing? He was going to go abroad. Yeah, okay, that one's obvious. You're stuck. It's something that so obviously has to be planned because you have to apply for a passport. Clearly, you're taking actions of a plan. Okay, a little mix and match exercise to finish us off probably for this class. Okay, using the verbs from up above, up here. All right, let's give this a try. Antonio, back to you.
At the age of 8, I decided I a pilot when I grew up.
Okay, this is the blank. Yeah,
I was going to become a pilot.
your plan. Yeah, I was going to become. Yeah, okay, absolutely. Perfect. Great. Ale, number 2.
Okay. We know she was going to travel for 10 hours by the time she arrived at our house later that night. So she was probably going to be very tired.
Okay, we knew she was going to travel for 10 hours by the time she arrived. By the time she arrived. Okay, so in the past, this was an event that was going to happen before another specific time in the future. In the past, this was an event in the future that would happen before a specific time. So what verb tense do we use in normal language when we want to express the idea of something happening before a specific time?
The simple past?
No.
No.
No, future tense. We're talking about, never mind this, okay? In the future tense, what do we use when we want, by 1960, I'm sorry, 1964, I don't even know what year, by 2020, I will have been a teacher for 15 years, okay? Will have been. What is that?
Sorry. Yes, I know, but I don't remember the right name.
It's future perfect. Okay.
Future perfect. Okay.
Future perfect. Okay. So we have to take that into account. That, see, this is what you have to consider. It's like an extra step in the thinking process. When this actually happened, not now you're reporting, but when it actually happened, what tense would you use? All right, you'd use future perfect. So we knew she would have been traveling. Okay, I'm sorry. This would be actually, would have been traveling. I'm sorry. This would have been perfect continuous for 10 hours. Or I guess either way. Or she would have traveled. She would have traveled for 10 hours or been traveling for 10 hours. You can say it either way, actually.
Okay.
Here's a case where you could say it either way. You use a perfect tense if you want to emphasize the result. You use a continuous tense if you want to emphasize the verb. In reality here, I would emphasize the verb by using a continuous because I also have the phrase for 10 hours. That shows me I'm really exaggerating so long a time she's traveling. Okay.
Okay.
All right. But anyway, okay. That's the idea.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was a very, very tricky one. Wilson, number 3.
Okay, according to his ticket, the flight was going to leave at 6 o'clock, so he still had plenty of time.
Yep. He still had plenty of time. Okay. Very good. Okay. Notice this is not reported speech. We can see future in the past used in other instances here. Here's another instance. Okay, guys, you know what? As much fun as this is, and I do have more exercises, what I don't have is time. My future is now in the past. I got to go. Got another one-on-one class to get to, so thank you very much, guys, and hope to see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye for now.